instead of reactive to what's going on.
It's interesting to see those moments for players, just in general, not to like name names, but the situations that it's happened as you hear like Mike Young saying, I want to find that confidence, right? And we know Smoothie to have that confidence, but when you do see it in somebody, it really triggers you to play that person. And currently Zeyzal's that for Cloud9. We'll see if that mentality really clicks with the team again. 1-1 for both teams as we enter into Champion Select to see who can take that victory.
Yeah, and I've talked to some pros about GoldenGlue in particular, and what I've heard is a big difference between him and Jensen is he always is telling the jungler what he needs constantly. So he's constantly updating, even just saying like, hey, I need you here, or pulling people to him. So you always know what to do, and as a jungler myself, that's always very appreciated when somebody says exactly what they need. And whether or not you can give it to them is also important. You don't have to bend over backwards to make it happen every time, but at least having the information flowing constantly is something that works out very well for most teams. And for Cloud9, it seems the communication is on point for them with this squad in particular.
That's what they promote as well. We'll see if it's true. Braum locked in, not showing too much for Golden Guardians. They did hover the brand. We saw that for Deftly in week 1, so something they're used to.
Yeah, Shen, they've run this twice already. It would be 3 games in a row of Shen for Licorice. And it also opens up possibility of if they ever want to run a funnel strategy with a Kai'Sa, which is still on the table here. And also Golden Guardians locking in Braum early means it could be for Matt, it could be for Mickey in the mid lane, or Contractz even if they swap the roles about. But you always have to worry about, is somebody going to run a strategy like a Master Yi, a Kai'Sa, etc.
Kind of think of all the small things that Braum early might deter you from saying, oh, they can block the Forge God, they can block this, big things in the top. We got to see the Shen though. So the Ornn may not be a problem after all. Ezreal's locked in for Keith. That was the other play for Deftly after Brand. So that'll be a nice takeaway on that for a play for him. And now maybe the Kai'Sa, that funneling may come into play on this side.
And I think you pick it just because it's really good flex and then it throws the others off.
True.
It could be going
mid. Have to funnel.
Could be a jungler for them, or could even be in that bottom side. So this is really scary here because we saw Optic come in and say they had done their homework. Now Golden Guardians are saying they studied up to.
All the walls. Yasuo gets locked in as well with that Kai'Sa, and a lot of power just in those last 2 picks for Golden Guardians.
And where are these picks going to go? Is Deftly going to play the Kai'Sa? Is Mickey going to play the Yasuo? Or is it going to be Lourlo in the top lane, somebody who played a ton of Riven Fiora back in the day before he became a professional player? We'll see what happens because he has the mechanics, right?
Yep. Well, that's the thing, right? We saw Mickey on Lourlo twice after saying, hey, this guy's going to carry. He's been Scion, crazy stuff in Academy, and plays all these other things. And then he was on the 2 Lourlo games. So maybe one of those carries is his, and we can actually see Mickey pop off. Swain locked in on the side of Cloud9. Still a bit of flexing could be had, but mostly looking like that's GoldenGlue's for now.
Yeah. We'll see where that goes. And like you talked about for Mickey, the 2 Lourlo games for him, want to see something for a little different. Looking at his career stats.
What's he got up there?
Don't see a single, I see one Yasuo game? 4 Yasuo games, 1 and 3 overall in his career on Yasuo. So don't know if it'll be going to him or if he's studied up more, but I expect the bans to be something like the Aatrox, the Dr. Mundo to come through as another ban.
The jungle's hitting too here, maybe a Trundle, but yeah, the Dr. Mundo seems like definitely a good one to come through if they want to stop these long fights.
Sejuani ban. So Sejuani still really good, really flexible now. Can be a mid lane funnel. Can actually play mid lane itself. The GP, interesting. Keith's got to hover the Ashe. He was known as an Ashe bot for a while. Played the brand earlier. I think he's playing the Ezreal.
Okay.
So.
Evelynn gets locked in. Forgot we were still looking for a jungler there, but yeah, Svenskeren locks in the jungler, try to keep it sneaky on Evelynn.
But that's so interesting because Cloud9, they banned 2 junglers away, then they picked this one when if this they thought this was the highest priority jungler for them because they could have not banned Graves, you could have not banned Sejuani, and could have banned even like Evelynn Return or something, and then had it for yourself.
Oh my word. It's like beef sandwich.
Yeah,
you got a slice of Kai'Sa, a slice of Yasuo, and a lot of health in the middle.
Okay, so Braum mid with Kai'Sa in the jungle, Ornn top lane, and then you have Yasuo Alistar bottom lane. So you have a Yasuo Alistar combination for a headbutt pulverize into last breath.
I like it.
And then the Kai'Sa will synergize with with the Braum feeding him farm. But the question is, who is playing the champion? Is it Mickey? Is it Contractz? Who's going to be the one getting funneled the farm? Or even, hey, is it going to be Deftly playing the Kai'Sa in the mid lane?
I always like to see clashing compositions, though, because you have basically some standard coming from Cloud9, and Golden Guardians has just gone with that face roll. So we're going to bring power to the table, and we're going to try to activate fights with our dive buddies as much as possible. We're kind of sorting things out now. It looks like they sort themselves to more so of a regular comp, but that Braum in there, it is interesting. It is locked in. It's going to stay. Kai'Sa takes that smite, and we are going to see a bit more go into her.
It's role swap here. It'll be Deftly playing Kai'Sa in the mid lane / jungle with smite. So he's going to be funneled farm. Deftly, he played incredibly well last split, and I remember their times being like, Deftly is the person they need to have step up as a carry. I don't think you can step up harder than being funneled 2 lanes of farm, or the jungler's farm, plus your own. And now they have Mickey playing the bottom side of the map on that Yasuo with a combination that should help him. So Golden Guardians, they come off their Team Liquid win, feeling great. They come into this game with something that could work out for them, having that Kai'Sa, putting all their eggs in the Deftly basket, but having Mickey as a little bit of an insurance policy.
To take down Cloud9 too, just after Liquid, would super boost the confidence of Golden Guardians here with a much different start already to the summer split than they had in the spring. We're about to be onto the rift for your last game here of day 1, week 2, Golden Guardians versus Cloud9. As we say before, these guys are itching to get out of the base and on to the rift. Let's see what they have for each other.
And now we're seeing, for the first time in North America, a funnel strategy versus a non-funnel strategy. So, when both teams are funneling, you got to have the junglers mid. When one team is funneling and the other one isn't, you have to find ways around the mid lane. Instead of playing the jungler's game and going towards the mid lane and playing 1v2 or 2v2, you need to have your jungler like Svenskeren in this situation find side lanes, find ways to get advantages, or even catch them when they're catching mid-wave farm. So that's what I'm watching, is I'm watching Svenskeren, who's in the matchup where you aren't actually playing against one person in the jungle, you're playing against 2 that roam around the entire time. And they also have a submarine strategy, right? It's Shen plus the Evelynn, so they can have some pretty cute things happen later in the game.
Yeah, the mini sub, if you will. We usually see the Twitch and the Shen coming through, but can definitely happen with the Evelynn. And you know, Zirene, I think about it a little bit, and part of this meta, just thinking about it, could be perfect for all the ADs. Because a lot of them are like, oh, but I got to play Vladimir. I don't play Vladimir. But really, they could just funnel strat the ADs. That's the exact environment they want to be in from day one. They want to be the focus. They want to be that.
Yeah.
But the situation changes where playing in a different lane is sometimes that much bigger, and sometimes we see the mid laners playing that AD, as we may have a fight to start things off.
There's 4 people here for Cloud9. They're being
already in the jungle. They just got pinched to the top side as well. Cloud9, they're going to push them even more for no exit. So this is a very hard fight for Golden Guardians to even consider. They have to go face first, and they've got the damage onto Licorice. He says, there's my health, I'll back out. Now mitigating each other in and out, and making sure they can get themselves to a good spot. They say, we don't like the full fight, that now they've made it here with more crowd control. Golden Guardians repositions, but I don't think Red's going to get away that easy here.
Yeah, the issue is that it was a 3v4 in favor of Cloud9. Then they were able to push away Licorice in the 3v4, made it a 3v3, and then the Alistar, Matt, came up to the top side of the map. And that's going to make the difference here. I believe you actually get this, and Svenskeren's going to have to clear that.
Yep, clearing back, just quickly hate spiking out the Raptors. Contractz helps Deftly collect on the red. They knew they were going to have the pressure to do that. If Cloud9 wanted to try and fight, they would have lost a lot of lane pressure.
And now I actually think Golden Guardians may... Are they going to use Relic Shield on the mid lane? No, Matt's actually just going to go straight through. Or is he going to hold it? What's going on here? No?
The speed of the scuttle to get Contractz back in the jungle may kind of... Or, well, not win the jungle, but with Deftly may be kind of the priority here. Bot side, Matt's going to be able to put a little pressure on here.
And he already got the level 2, but there's 2 people down bottom. If he goes in, then he's at a numbers disadvantage because the bot lane will roam up, who are actually bullying Mickey right now. Mickey, half HP. It looks like they pushed him out of the lane a bit there. He's up in CS, but now he's finally going to have Matt in attendance. But that's really good to have that Yasuo hit level 3 early, getting the solo lane experience while Matt was roaming.
Is your point. Also good that Mickey could stay strong during that, even with the autos coming in. The last few pushes will put Keith Zeyzal under the turret, much easier for Mickey to stay out of Mystic Shot range. A first buy for them in the bot side, and things are moving here. Golden Guardians gets the red they wanted to start, but what can that turn into? We will see.
It can turn into a super Deftly here for the team. That's what they're looking for. That's what they're aiming for here, is to have Deftly be the big primary carry of this squad. You see GoldenGlue is actually doing a bit of a freeze here, which will pull them a little bit further in if they want to catch that mid lane farm. But it's almost like a catch-22 when you freeze in mid lane, because it gives them more time to funnel the jungle camps into the mid laner.
Yeah.
And you build up a wave against yourself. It's fine, but now it's like you don't make them use any of their time. So see, like right now, Kai'Sa's doing the Raptors. Did the Wolves now, and you have Contractz who will hold the wave and wait for the Kai'Sa. So now it's just this big stacked wave. He'll be at like, what, 35, 37 CS after this? Massive lead just because of the fact he's getting funneled all this gold.
It's crazy stuff. You know, coming into the season, or even coming in for Contractz playing in the LCS, I bet you thought as a jungler, I'm going to be playing Braum tomorrow. I don't think that ever crossed his mind. The situations are very interesting. Just what people have to put themselves in.
After that previous game, I loved the tweet from Acadian, better support wins.
Yeah, the better support wins in some
You
cases.
didn't expect it, but you have to be flexible in this meta.
Yep.
And it's almost like game sense is a given now, and people need to understand what all the lanes can do. But you also need to have a specialty in terms of champions, or champions that you really enjoy playing. Or if somebody is just more mechanically sound than you. If you have somebody who's really, really damn good at the game mechanically, then yeah, you're going to give them the mechanically demanding champion, even if it's outside of their role.
Sometimes that is the situation. You just put them in that moment, and they shine. 5:20 on the clock. Lourlo with some easy farm to clean up here underneath the turret. He'll be ahead in CS after this. He cleans it all up. And he's doing pretty well for himself. Might get a teleport back from Licorice, but it looks like he could be able to walk back the lane without losing too much. Tiamat in his hands, as again we see Lourlo just hiding out in lane, building with his passive.
Yeah, you're going to need that Tiamat to shove the wave.
Catalyst.
Right now, definitely, he's decently ahead because he's been funneled farm. But at the same time, remember, this funnel strat means you have two people who are under-leveled. Contractz and Matt will both be low level, whereas if Svenskeren's able to just be on the same level as the normal jungle path, then you actually have a little bit more power in a 2-on-2 early, because you'll have like a level 6 Evelynn and a level 7 Swain versus a level 8 and like a level 5. So if you can actually get ahead of the curve, or not ahead of the curve, stay on curve for the normal jungle path, you're ahead of the other quote-unquote jungler, the person who's funneling farm into the mid lane.
So many little things you gotta pay attention to. Minion dematerializers still in the hands of C9. If anything goes crazy late game, they have those, so we'll keep an eye on it. Licorice has not used any yet, however. We're really focusing on what that could do for the side lanes.
Yeah, banner command, it doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
So you don't need to hold those banners. I think it's most likely for cannon minions in the mid game, but you could be using those now. Feels like maybe he doesn't get the chance.
Just ramp that damage.
Yeah, but also, if they start invading your top side with a funnel strat, you can go ahead and use the minion dematerializer, get priority, and then roam before the other guy.
Keith taking a turret shot, making engaging look a little more juicy there. Mickey and Matt, not really taking it. Level 5 is just short there for Mickey, so he cannot get the last breath. Also, would have been a pretty scary play with Svenskeren just off on the wing. Vision control by bot lane is in bot lane is held by Cloud9. So
you're gonna have to pull other people up here, because Svenskeren will die to this dragon, I believe, by himself.
Ruh-roh. He's got 2 more shots. He's got 1 more shot.
He's gonna be okay.
He's got it.
So that's gonna be a good roam up there. And remember, when you run a funnel strat, you actually typically give up drakes. When we had the funnel versus funnel, I think it was a mountain drake that was up for so long.
Yeah.
Because
very long.
The person who has smite is running around and just being escorted everywhere between camps. If you go for a drake, that's actually not worth your time and experience as the person who has smite and getting funneled all the gold.
And that was like funnel heavy objective cover too, because that was a new with smite. This is a Braum exhaust flash.
You do them later. You do them way later, because if I'm spending a minute doing the drake, that's a minute I'm not resetting the jungle or actually picking up a minion wave during that time. Somebody would have to like hold the minion wave forever. It's just not efficient if your goal for the composition is to get this one person really far ahead. And that's why they're taking the scuttles too. good job here from Golden Guardians. You're gonna have to find time to back though, because GoldenGlue has the TP, Deftly doesn't. So GoldenGlue's been able to shove the wave, get more items, and then more ability to shove the wave. But now, like I was saying before, this is where Svenskeren hits 6, and then it's a level 6 to Contractz won't have 6 yet.
Right.
So you have 2 ultimates coming from the jungle mid versus only 1 ultimate from the enemy jungle mid, and this gives you an opportunity to strike.
Kind of how to use a jungler. Obviously, we see Svenskeren doing what he can. He might get engaged down here, but knowing GoldenGlue is gonna always grab extra pressure. Do you have to be more cognizant of when the waves are crashing, when you have to be back mid as Svenskeren?
As Svenskeren, absolutely, and potential for flanks and stuff like that. You see right here, coming around the side. They're just trying to get lane priority. Keith uses that so that they can have their support Zeyzal run into the jungle and potentially is this a dive bottom?
And they have the exit path cut off by Svenskeren.
Yeah, they haven't spotted this. Zeyzal actually just got to walk through the jungle by himself and not get spotted, and gonna go.
Svenskeren started on the Krugs as soon as that fight went in. Golden Guardians attacked in. Good shield coming in from Licorice. They timed that well, and now Keith can turn around and start the fight. Zeyzal spits out Mickey, but he might go for Keith. Almost takes down his AD. Ooh, shaking in his boots. C9 come up with first blood.
Yeah, that was a great exhaust there from Zeyzal. Zeyzal with the big save. Same with Licorice. It's going to abandon the top lane a bit, but that's still the first blood going over to Licorice in the top side.
Crazy stuff. A nice activation, however, from C9 as they have been waiting patiently. A lot of movement from Golden Guardians, trying to find a few things. The early aggression to get Deftly the red, and C9 has kind of just said, we'll absorb this, and then find our fight.
Yeah, and I love this from Cloud9.
These are first Acer Predator replay.
Exactly. Scaring off on the side, but Keith gets knocked up here by Mickey. Mickey goes in, but that's immediately when Licorice uses the ulti. They use the exhaust to make sure that they can't blow up Keith before Licorice arrives. Woo! And then, yeah, almost blows him up there at the end.
Thanks, friend. One last Steel Tempest, and that would have been Keith's life. But he gets the distance, has some nice items now as he's still stacking up the tier, so a good pickaxe damage to throw in there. Help him in lane as he's kind of just forced against that crit of Yasuo.
Yeah, and one thing I really want to bring attention to here is funnel strats are not invincible. It actually takes a lot of coordination to beat them, and we're seeing Cloud9 whenever they understand at least what you need to do in a funnel strat, and that's how they play around it. When they saw that, hey, he was going to go to this side of the jungle, they went to the opposite side. When they saw that Deftly hadn't backed and they had item advantage because of their TP, they knew that's the time for them to strike because the Kai'Sa's sitting on thousands and thousands of gold. Because you're out on the field for a long time. Because you have to be in attendance for the waves, keep getting the jungle on and cycling it. But right now, GoldenGlue is the same level as Deftly because Svenskeren has been able to counter jungle Raptors, counter jungle red buff, take away camps, and it's made a huge difference here where GoldenGlue, he's actually the same level as Deftly, even though Deftly's getting funneled so much farm.
And we saw that be much different in the previous game. The funnel farms were,
I think he's actually ahead.
Were 2 levels up.
I actually think GoldenGlue is ahead as a non-funneled carry. He's down 700 gold, but I think he's ahead in levels. He'll hit level 10 right there. Yeah, he's ahead.
Pushing out Svenskeren and Licorice. They play it safe though, say one turret isn't worth the death of a few members that gives them even more on the map. We may see activation here. Pings go down in the mid lane that they are heading back for definitely Contractz. So top slowly going down. Looks like they'll TP back and save it as that fizzles out.
Yep, I believe that's Licorice's TP. Yep, has the Titanic Hydra now, so able to clear waves really easily.
Yep. Works well too, because Stand United just about to come up, so no real pressure lost. He gets back to lane at 1-0 now, cleans that up.
And now you get some time as the mid laner, as both Deftly and Contractz, to pick up some waves, funnel more farm, but the funneling right now, it's on par where you should be, but GoldenGlue has actually done so well in this matchup. And Tim and Svenskeren really kind of take it to him. But they want Licorice, flashes away. Right as they're coming up, but there's no camps for them to counter jungle, right? And Svenskeren's going to the bottom side because they saw it. And now he's behind them.
Oh, now this is a very big play. The turret that could have gone down on the top side against C9. They activate on the bot side. Heat gets downed though. Now they're looking to take a few more. Licorice does make it in with that Stand United. Svenskeren uses the ultimate to dodge backwards for Eve. Nicely placed. And they get themselves to safety. Lourlo almost being able to charge forward. Keith, the only one going down in that fight. Golden Guardians attack nicely, as you can hear Svenskeren still wanting a bit more. Charms up the Gromp. That gives Deftly an idea of where he is. And now Svenskeren getting himself into a bit of trouble, but now into the turret for safety.
Yeah, nope. Contractz is like, I gotta get back to mid. I gotta hold the wave for him. Sorry about the blast cone, but minion wave is dying to the turret. And that's the thing is, one way to counter funnel strats is wave clear mids that have early access to wave clear, because you make it so that minions die to the turret. So what I've heard is things like Aurelion Sol is really good against it,
right?
Because he can level 1 shove and force you to lose experience, or have this supportive person who's supposed to be escorting the jungler in the lane. Talia is also okay, would have been better before the changes. But also Swain, Ziggs is another one that jumps up, as people have early access to this wave clear.
We'll see this one again.
Yeah, because Svenskeren's coming in on the side. Great knock up there to set it up. They kill Keith, knowing he has no flash or way to avoid it once he's been knocked up. And then almost finishes off Mickey there.
It feels good to always get out with last caress, that last moment. Any champions that have that outplay ability, always nice to be able to get that off. Coming up on 15 minutes. A few of those ults are now down, but it still looks like the pressure on the bottom is relentless. Ooh. Little game of cat and mouse here in the bot side of the jungle. What looks like Svenskeren will be able to make it out nice and easy. There's just too much vision for Golden Guardians down there now, so it looks like they leave Keith and Zeyzal to do their own.
Yeah, in that last fight, we've talked about Matt and Deftly having good synergy. That was Matt playing incredibly well alongside Mickey's Yasuo. That was the knockup for the synergy, and then Mickey saved himself with the exhaust. He exhausted the Evelynn right before she ultied, and so he would have died otherwise.
Those are some of my favorite situations, because you just saw Mickey and Matt make an instant decision knowing that they were getting engaged on. It says, well, we're getting engaged on. Let's be the first one to fight Keith. Came up a little bit a little bit better for what could have been worse. Just about 1,000 gold lead for C9.
Yeah.
Still playing slow. They can do this throughout the whole game. It feels like they absorb things. They get a dragon.
They want Deftly.
A turret when they can, or a possible kill falling into their hands due to an error here. GoldenGlue not getting enough damage down.
Got the root.
Oh my God!
What the hell? GoldenGlue destroys Deftly.
I figured he was just standing there taunting him. He was like, no, bro, you're gonna die. You might want to walk away. Here, I'll do it for you. Holy crap, 16 minutes on the clock, and it definitely is gone.
I'm at a loss for words. He actually just destroyed him. He's getting funneled gold, but Gold was like, I can do you one better. I funneled this damage. Nice play.
Stand United flash in to get that taunt even closer from Licorice. Matt throws down the ultimate, so he will not go down.
But they
and
get
now
turrets.
Cloud9, yeah, headed towards the bot side, are activating after GoldenGlue's play in mid, who has been holding the funnel farm strat all by himself.
Yeah, he's been doing incredibly well. Svenskeren has also contributed a decent amount with his positioning and the way he's playing over this Evelynn around
being
the sides.
in presence.
And this is something where you don't get to track the enemy jungler because she's invisible post level 6. And Deftly's behind in levels. He's behind at least a full level. There's turrets going down everywhere. They put the eggs in the Deftly basket, but those eggs are cracked. They are running everywhere right now. Seriously, because
like
Mickey
you can still save them, scramble them up. It's all right. You can still save them.
And it gives you cracked eggs. You gotta scramble them, I guess, but it's gonna take a lot to scramble them because C9, 2 Infernal Drakes. They've been playing standard here, but they're playing around the funnel strat beautifully. They shut it down with the position of Evelynn and GoldenGlue's play, and then when they get the kill on Deftly, they put him so far behind that he's not gonna turn on until later, and they really do need to keep this up. But if C9 have that proactive shot calling that they were saying Zeyzal has brought to the table, that's gonna help them push this game forward and not allow it to get to the point where Deftly not even just gets ahead again, but even catches up to GoldenGlue, who just destroyed him.
I feel like Deftly was also caught off guard by that. Not so much Contractz, because Contractz was just out of range. He's like, I don't want any of that. You should back up too. And I think Deftly was completely just taken by surprise. Interesting to see though, because we talked about how much should be known in these varying metas. What's happening here? What's happening there?
Yeah.
What's he at? Let's see here. Keep an eye on it.
Definitely took Deftly by surprise. That was obliteration. Hit him with the E. Got him with the almost point-blank Q, and then just let the R2 go off there.
Let it rip. Crazy stuff. 1-0-0 at 197, just 30 CS behind even the funnel strat.
Oh, Hex Flash?
Walking in, yeah, Hex Flash indeed. He kind of walked up to him, but he still initiates it. Zeyzal's gonna force his flash over the wall. And now it's all on to Keith. He cannot catch a break. He spawns and goes down as Golden Guardians have his number. Now Zeyzal has to use the gray health. Concussive blows, locks down that Winter's Bite, and he falls as well. Just about 30 seconds on the clock is going to be enough now for these turrets to get worked pretty well.
And GoldenGlue played his heart out previously, but Keith and Zeyzal right there, caught out of position. A lot of that is Matt setting up the Hex Flash and the Pulverize into the headbutt backwards, so he didn't have to use his headbutt to close the distance.
Almost again there. He tried to use another Hex Flash out of the Raptor Brush to stop the rotation in from Licorice. Instant initiations over and over again.
This gets him back in the game. Golden Guardians will get this turret. They keep Shelly's health, potentially to push for another turret if they actually...
Stop her. She's like, get out of my way.
All right.
Ah! That's nice. Good setup. Prep for the second tier turret as Golden Guardians take a breather. We'll see what kind of items they cap themselves off with.
Issue, though, is the funnel strat is still not funneling anything right now. Deftly still down in levels. Got himself the Nashor's Tooth, so he's getting some gold. But you see, it's only GoldenGlue being, with that kill, 700 gold down, 800 gold down, but he's actually up in levels, which is incredible considering the fact it's supposed to be all of this gold and experience going the way.
The way the game plays out now is when you get stronger, it takes a little bit to take one turret, right? And then a second, they get Shelly for the middle. But at the time, once they get another few minutes and C9 wins that next one, if they do, then it's down mid, then it's down a full lane, which absolutely explodes the game. So like you're saying, while GG doing well, there's still a lot of ground to be made here because that one fight for C9 could flip everything. They'll take the Drake here. Ocean to top themselves off with sustain throughout these fights. And then we'll head back to the lanes to see if they can capitalize on that position and start getting a few more turrets down.
Yeah, and another thing that you have to consider is when these guys show up, how much gold is in attendance, right? If you're getting funneled all this gold, it's 9,000 gold for Deftly, it's 8,300 for GoldenGlue, but then even when the junglers show up, it's 6,400 for Svenskeren, it's 4,700 for Contractz. So the Braum in a 2-on-2 is bringing less gold to the table, but hold on, Matt.
Warding is a dangerous job. PSA right there. Matt goes down, and it will be rough for Golden Guardians to keep the ground they just had. We see C9 starting to encroach that vision forward and be a little more aggressive.
Yeah, with no TP on Lourlo, they're trying to get some top lane vision so they could potentially shove in more. Because somebody has to go answer Licorice, but he has that global ultimate of the Stand United. And they don't really have anybody who would answer, right? But there's 3 teleports plus a global, semi-global, 2 semi-globals actually on Cloud9's side. So they can play the entire map against Golden Guardians. Golden Guardians have 1 TP, and that's it. So they can't play the map right now. And you can see it. C9 get to kind of take everything that is at least reachable for them right now, like this outer turret.
None of the wards are that far forward on this side, just the bot. So this is their level of play. Then they'll feel a little bit safer. I kind of always like that rule. You never cross river without a friend, and then even more so without wards. So they're staying true to that.
Something I want to point out here is the purchase from Svenskeren, the Spellbinder. Massive amount of AP on it, it's 120. But the movement speed, the move around the jungle quickly. Also, it gives you really good burst combos once you've stacked it. Because you have that active that gives you more ability power and movement speed based on how many stacks it has. This is actually really cool to see here because Evelynn builds have been things like Proto Belt, having the Hextech Revolver, and then moving on to something else. But having more AP makes it sort of passive, gives her more HP when she's actually in stealth again, right? So a lot of combat patterns for Evelynn is you go in, you burst, you get out with your ultimate, and then wait to re-stealth, and then see how much your passive heals you. I've seen a lot of Evelynn mains actually go death cap really early in their build, because you'll get them to max HP when they re-stealth. So even if you had like 10% you made it out, you're back. It's like a Warmogs for her.
But you gotta spam dance while you're healing.
Back in the
thing.
stealth.
Oh, Matt. He's saying, return to the scene of the crime. I see the chalk on the ground, but I'm going to draw you this time. Zeyzal almost going down. Oh, Mickey is able to finish him off, and now we're following the bot side of the fight. Huge damage on the Contractz as GoldenGlue releases the R2. and now they come up very big. These are the fights I was talking about. Once they happen in the middle of the game for C9, they will start to capitalize.
We've heard for years that GoldenGlue is a god in scrim. We're seeing it now. The confidence, the bravado, the kill that he got earlier. This one here where he sees the opportunity to go in. Zeyzal stays alive a little bit too long for Golden Guardians. They group up, they flash in, and that was a massive amount of damage there from GoldenGlue.
It's literally a shock and awe. You have no time to react. Here it is again. Matt wants to initiate, and they flip the tables around.
Yeah, it's so much damage. Deftly gets in, dodges the taunt. There's two people on him, but then, boom, the burst there from Svenskeren, plus GoldenGlue's flash R2. They basically double-teamed that Kai'Sa. We're seeing jungle mid synergy here for Cloud9 come up huge.
Somebody just told him, just pretend it's a scrim. GoldenGlue was like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do that. 3-0 and 2, just missing out on 1 kill this game. And the 6 for C9 on the board. 5,000 gold lead now with Baron. For another 2.5 minutes, they pressure the mid lane. Svenskeren's gonna make sure the wings are clear.
Seeing items come online for Deftly though, but when I compare the gold, GoldenGlue's ahead. He didn't get funneled anything this game.
That's crazy.
And he is 600 gold ahead right now. It's a massive amount. And then he also has the 2 Infernal Drakes. So the value of his inventory and his champion, and the fact he's 2 levels up, I don't know how he was able to do this. A lot of it comes down to Svenskeren helping, scouting, and playing around the funnel strat. But this is beautifully done from Cloud9 to shut it down, and Deftly hasn't really had much to say in this game, even though he's the focal point for Golden Guardians.
Absolutely. Just looking at what he was playing, we saw that brand, that Ezreal, and they put the Kai'Sa in his hands for a bit of priority here. But GoldenGlue showing very strong and a pretty natural composition, or I should say traditional, coming from C9. GoldenGlue in the mid lane. You know, Zirene, you know, you say you don't know how it happened, but it's a good thing we got this all on record. Go back and watch it and figure it out step by step. Zirene's next breakdown. How did he do it?
How did GoldenGlue do it?
25 minutes on the clock. All of those Dragon objectives in favor of Cloud9, as well as the Baron. See where they decide to go with this. One last turret stands on the outside of the map. That's top, and GoldenGlue will be the first one there as mid gets worked in by the rest of the team. He was just bot, remember. So the team has been waiting and waiting, allowing him to transfer all the way to top and slowly push this in. They are just kind of bleeding out Golden Guardians.
Yeah, Svenskaren's doing so much in terms of scouting. Mickey sees him there. Gonna get the...
Nice block. Very nice block. Use the ult, last caress to get out.
Gets out. So as long as he doesn't die, that's kind of a win there. But now,
where's the pressure going? GoldenGlue could just leave everything topside and say, I'll come join you guys for a fight. They're spread so thin, worrying about everything we're doing.
Yeah, and they're shoving waves constantly, which means funneling strats, you're not getting this Raptor camp, which Licorice is taking. You're not getting the top side of the farm.
Third
you have
Infernal.
to give it to somebody who doesn't have teleport, right? And now the third Infernal, oh man. Yeah, in funnel strats, you don't really get to take the Drakes because your smite is constantly in lane and then jungle back and forth. You don't want to waste that time.
Interesting.
This is actually just mega Drake RNG here for Cloud9 on top of it. These are the best Drakes to have if you want to match a funneling composition. You have an early Ocean, you have yourself 3 Infernals, and then the Mountain's going to help you close the game out. So in terms of even just order of what happened, this is huge for them too.
Some would say unlucky.
So,
but also lucky.
True. It's true.
There's always 2 sides to a story. But Cloud9 is very happy with this one.
Yeah, regardless of the Drakes, though, I think they've been playing beautifully. I'm not putting it on the Drakes. I'm saying
take the Drakes away, and I feel like they're still in the league.
Exactly. I think it's kind of a win-more situation where they were already winning. They get to take the Drakes, and then they get to push out and use the Drakes that they got, or kind of you're given by playing against a funnel comp that doesn't want to actually show up at Drakes. So it ended up being a situation where, hey, they capitalized on it. They've gotten great rewards. C9, I've absolutely been loving the way they play against the funnel composition.
And we actually just saw a bit of it work with a secondary, not funnel, but aggression. Optic using the 2 AD carries or bot laners. When Deftly's carry would go down, you'd have one more carry to skirt around the fight. Here we see it, all eggs in one basket, a bit tougher.
Yeah.
And Deftly goes down, you can't do that.
So when I was talking about the Echo Fox versus Optic earlier, the strategy that was coming out was one of the things going for Echo Fox versus the Kai'Sa was she's never going to build MR, right? So she stays at this really low number. Deftly currently has 37 magic resistance. But then you look over at GoldenGlue, he's got the penetration boots, he's got the Morellonomicon. He treats Deftly as if Deftly has 4 magic resistance. So if he's able to actually land his combo, this guy doesn't build HP. He's not building anything that's going to have magic resistance on it. And so you can actually just completely decimate with a good combo that lands onto this Kai'Sa and just blow Deftly up and blow up the strategy.
We have seen that once already, with Deftly being very unaware it was coming. That's how how quick it happened. And just 1.5 minutes up for Baron. A little bit more pressure for Golden Guardians to try something, but also C9 to just say, hey, you're either going to come fight us, or we're basically going to run it down one of your lanes with this pressure. Heath looks like he's going to clean up a little on the bot side here, get himself some blue buff to spit out those mystic shots throughout the fight.
Yeah, stack up that tier, the second tier as well.
Oh yeah,
got some Trinity Force, Blade of the Rune King, he's ready to go. On the other side though, like, man, GoldenGlue's still 2 levels up over Deftly. And then that's the thing is
that's insane to think of,
but like
in a funneling strat.
He's 2 levels up, and then his jungler's 3 levels up over the counterpart in Contractz. So once the jungler starts getting ahead too, you just end up with this thing where if you combine levels, you combine gold totals, you're going to lose every 2-on-2 because GoldenGlue, Svenskeren, stronger than Contractz plus Deftly from a gold experience perspective as well. So the funnel strat, I think, is just now it's not really that much of a funnel strat. She's just got some gold. You're just looking at 2 supports and a marksman, plus you have a little bit of a extra damage dealer in Mickey on the bruiser. So it's not something where you have this super Kai'Sa, I'd say.
Do you ever divert, though? Do you have that option at this point? Do you say, that camp's Deftly's, that camp's Deftly's, maybe this one's Mickey's, that camp's Deftly's?
But that stuff happens all the time anyway. Like, as a jungler, I know when you get to the mid game, it's like, this isn't even my red buff anymore.
Mine.
My blue buffs is my mid laners, my red buffs is my marksman guys. It's like, I don't get anything. I'll like take a camp if it's up. My top laner's taking camps. Their top laner, if he's pushing it, he's taking my camps. So you kind of get the table scraps. So yeah, your laners will typically get camps anyway during the mid game. So the assignment already kind of happens like that, and that's why I'm saying like Deftly is going to get funneled some stuff still, but I don't think it's that large of a degree now because C9 will take camps. You're not going to have this massive Kai'Sa. Like I said, there's no super Kai'Sa. It's not super Deftly right now. It's mediocre Kai'Sa right now. This is normal Kai'Sa.
It's unfortunate. It's not what you want. Let's see if you can get the gears oiled up. Starts spitting out the void damage. You can see the Knight's Vows being finished up. Zeyzal actually just relinked or used his recently to put onto Keith, as we would expect. You can see their matchup there in the middle combination. Matt and Contractz staying together, as well as the Bash duo here. If anybody steps up, they might be able to get an initiation. Anything they're looking if somebody steps out of line.
Nope, there's still a way that Golden Guardians can win this. They
absolutely
very close to having 2 bruiser items completed on Mickey. It looks like Frozen Mallet next, so he's not going for a massive crit build with an Infinity Edge. I think a lot of Yasuos are going away from that. And there's QSS for Deftly.
Crowd's behind him. Mountain Drake on a minute. Another Drake as well. I think that'll just be C9.
Yeah, if they can protect Deftly for long enough in a fight, and if Matt and Mickey can get a great headbutt pulverize in the last breath combination, they stand a very good chance of winning that fight. But also Svenskeren's approach matters a lot here.
Svenskeren's waiting. He's like, I want to charm you, but then you're alerted, so I don't want to do anything right now.
Yeah, also his positioning matters for Licorice's entrance fight.
Yes, it looks like he might just flash over the fight for that. Contractz getting hit once that shield goes down. There's a flash over the wall, the right on the Deftly, and here comes Licorice. Gets himself into the fight, and they're to the back. Last breath onto Mickey as the fight happens between him and Deftly. Keith fighting onto Mickey, as Deftly makes it safely to himself. Licorice actually not coming fully into the fight as he got stopped on towards the bot side, so that changed up a lot. Mickey lives with the Wanderer's shield at the last moment. Huge plays coming in, and the rest of the team of GGs makes their way out with a kill on Svenskeren.
Man. Woo. Golden Guardians, they end up winning that fight.
They absorb it.
One that ended up starting off great for them. Svenskeren didn't get the charm off. He wasn't able to break the charm. That was huge because the charm is going to do a burst of damage, lower the MR even more. So he's doing basically true damage to him. He's able to survive.
Looks like Golden Guardians wants to take this time to get wards out, but if they hit Baron, Lourlo's taking more than he wants. So Everybody back to base. Matt will be out here on his own lonesome, trying to get the wards in. We've seen trouble. It looks like they're going to go ahead and clear the wards he places immediately. So that's actually pretty rough for Golden Guardians. Matt comes out at kind of a decent time to place some wards after healing. Those wards are going to be very quickly cleared. So it could just be the fight over this vision is what C9 gets next. The Baron's going to happen, so the vision fight isn't going to be a thing. Matt's going to do everything he can here.
Remember, the person who has to fight it is Deftly. He'd have to get real far in there.
Great damage. Hever going onto the team. Baron goes down. They lose Svenskeren, and they may lose a few more members. Licorice has to force the flash. Killer Instinct from Deftly. A great hit. Winter's Bite, concussive blows, and they secure one more kill onto Licorice.
It's a 2 for Baron, and I take that trade pretty much any day as Cloud9 because Baron is incredibly strong, but I think they're going to have to give up the Mountain Drake on top of it. So this will be a good Drake for Golden Guardians to get back, and especially since it means they aren't going to be giving up even more Drakes for Cloud9 because potentially we might be looking at Elder Dragon soon.
Oh yeah, that'll be very big for C9. 4 stack Drakes. Golden Guardians will have this one mountain in their favor. However, it helps. That's the one they need to drop the turrets if they are able to approach. And a little bit of resource stealing before they go home, and they have time to do so.
Yep. So doing a Baron against the funnel strat is great because it means definitely if you even wanted to get this Baron, you'd have to go to the back line. And Mickey, yeah, great job to get the last breath off of the knock up there from the Ornn ultimate. And then definitely saw an opportunity to go in. And that was off of Contractz' ultimate too. Got the knock up to keep Licorice there. So if he had been able to keep moving, then I think the team may have wanted to turn around on him afterwards.
Yeah. Quicksilver sashes. Ooh, Mercurial Scimitar. There it is. Deftly just upgrades. So he gets a little bit more damage with his escape.
Yeah, and this gives you all of the upgrades, including the Q. Normally, you don't get the Q upgrade with the build that includes Sonya's instead of the Mercurial Scimitar. But this gives you all of them. So you'll also have the 10 Ecathian Rain Rockets.
Oh, Svenskeren. We're going to play the submarine game again.
Ooh.
Matt not liking that HP. A fight started now with just about 10%. And Svenskeren goes down immediately. Keith over the wall with an arcane shift. Killer Instinct coming in from Deftly, and he instantly gets the Ecathian Rain and rains on the parade of Keith. His flash goes down in that instance as well. The Golden Guardians are starting to make ground on what was a Baroned up Cloud9.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're going to win team fights a lot of the time here as the Golden Guardian squad. Like I said, the way they get back into this game is Deftly has to be able to be untouched, deals a lot of damage if he's left alone, and then Matt getting a synergistic knockup with Mickey. You really want a team fight as the GGS squad had everybody together as 5. C9, they're supposed to be playing the map.
Yeah.
Evelynn is such a great shadower of split pushes. You have 3 TPs. You have 2 global ultimates.
Here again.
So Zirene comes in from the side with the Shen ultimate. They knock him up, burst him down so quickly. And then they're able to go after Keith. Got one stat. All it takes is a stack of plasma. And then she'll be all over you.
Got sonar on that. They cannot get in with the submarine composition anymore. However, Svenskeren and Licorice should not stop trying. It only takes once to get to that backline with a good taunt. There is the damage from both Deftly and Keith in the last team fight as they almost match each other number for number.
Yeah.
Just 100 off.
And the Kai'Sa's hit that point. She's now got 4 completed items. Actually has a Hex Shrinker now, so would be looking at a Maw. And I thought he wouldn't be buying any magic resistance items. He's going to prove me wrong, call me a liar on that one. And absolutely, I think it's the right buy, because the way you die here is GoldenGlue or Svenskeren. You need that magic resistance, and you need for GoldenGlue not to be doing true damage to you.
I was just actually going to say, this Talisman, what does it get sold for? Is it a GA? But he actually goes probably to the Maw, a little more damage as well. It's going to feel good to get that in.
Yeah, having that shield on top of it is great, too.
The shield, yep.
Extra 35 magic resistance, basically doubles his magic resistance. And then the Lifeline shield.
Seeing if we got any stopwatches still out of use. I think just in the hands of Mickey at this point. Once he gets into the last breath, he wants to be able to not be the focus. Also, upgraded items coming through. You can see the Locket of the Iron Solari there. Upgraded for Contractz as we're getting to that point in the game for Ornn's passive.
Yeah.
Negative gold. Interesting from C9 on that play.
Yeah, they got it. They lost 2 people, and then they lost turret and lost a fight mid, so it makes a lot of sense. Svenskeren, though, looking for a flank, and this is just a death ball. Golden Guardians are just going to death ball up. Their composition wants to be together, and so this is perfect. I actually like this from C9. They're supposed to have a split push going. You only have one TP. There's only one person in the entire game on Golden Guardian side that can answer your split pusher and then show up to the fight, and that's Lourlo. If you get that TP, then it forces Golden Guardians to group up and bleed objectives, and C9 just tried to take multiple team fights back to back, and that's not what their composition should be doing.
That makes you quite timid as well when you see that you lose those team fights back.
They should be using their globals to pull apart Golden Guardians and then quickly group up for something if they want to. It's like a convergence, right? If I'm shoving a wave top lane, you have to come answer it. That gives me 10 seconds to go roam.
Right.
Those are the opportunities they should be looking for, is the fast collapses. And when they can catch you with your pants down as Golden Guardians.
Well, look at the ward that actually could be utilized in an escape fight for Cloud9 if they head towards the top. Golden Guardians is all over that vision already, but that's a it has to happen kind of situation. A what if, and those aren't the ones you play around. It's the what can happen right now.
Another one, submarine. There it is.
Svenskeren, yep, they get the submarine. Remember, they see this play over and over, so they try to stop it each time. Matt almost going down to the back immediately as he tries to crowd control GoldenGlue, keeping him out of the fight. Forge God goes on to GoldenGlue again. That's the focus, and it seems to be the right one. That's going to be Zeyzal going down now, and Golden Guardians have the right idea in mind.
That was so well played. Deftly, instantly QSS says, nope, I'm not going to get charmed. Uses his ultimate to the other side, and now he's perfectly fine. They protect him. Golden Guardians.
Amazing.
There's 30 seconds on Svenskeren. There's 40 on GoldenGlue, and they have massive damage to these turrets here. This might be them going for potentially the entire game. We'll see. Golden Guardians, they took down TL last week. They're going to try to take down C9 right here.
Well, they're thinking, thank you very much for that 5th Mountain Drake spawn in the game. A hit towards Licorice, so he can't crowd control the damage going into the Nexus turrets. They don't have too many minions, so the defense is up on the turrets. Golden Guardians have to back off for now, and C9 stay alive.
Yeah, Licorice got to use his Tiamat active, killed the entire wave. It's perfect.
Right before he headbutted out.
Exactly. He got headbutted out, so he got to have his cookie and eat it too.
Dunking it.
Went over there, said, all right, I want to clear this wave. Doesn't get caught or killed for it, and he gets to clear it and not die. So Licorice saved the game right there.
Absolutely crazy to see such a change for the Golden Guardians coming into the summer split. Relentless in their pressure, in a team that is never giving up in these situations where they're behind. 12-6 now as they have brought the gold almost even.
Wait. Okay, I was like, GoldenGlue just went into the dragon pit, and then Matt canceled his, Okay, they're gonna try to go for the Baron again because they know Deftly went back and he's the smite, right? It's not, isn't this jungler running around? You have this marksman with smite, and that's gonna be Baron for Cloud9.
So uncontested on that, just due to the map movement. It's not the first time Golden Guardians had to fend off a Baron. GoldenGlue already heads towards the other side of the map to push the lane out.
This time, Deftly ends up getting the charm off, gets the other side of the wind wall, perfect knock-up to follow, and that's all Svenskeren got to do in that fight. He didn't get the flash, he didn't get the ulti, and then there's this kind of buying time with your tanks on the right side of the fight, because they had both their damage dealers of Mickey and Deftly on the left side dealing with the dive.
There's again, just short of each other on damage, but very close, and you can't deny that these two need to stay alive in the fights. Golden Guardian setting up for the bushwhack on the bottom side. They're gonna leave Lourlo just kind of out in the open, maybe? Nah, he will join. No scryers out to be used, or I should say alteration orb.
Caught him though with the W there from
Just
Swain.
takes a bit. Forget about Vision of Empire, and nobody can move out in time.
And here it is, once again, making sure Lourlo doesn't have TP. So this is the perfect time for C9, where they have a way to force a 5v4, where Lourlo, there's nobody who can join him. I've talked about the globals like 4 times already. They have to kind of
say it again.
They have to shove, wait out the Elder Dragon. They'll still have their Baron up, but this means if they catch anybody, there's no way that Lourlo would be able to contribute unless he had already rotated earlier.
It was interesting that this Baron's kind of used to just take it off the map. It's like, that's cool. You just don't want to have to fight over something. Breathing room for everybody at this point in the game.
It was kind of a trade of objectives where Golden Guardian said, we really don't want you to have a 4-stacked Elder Dragon, so we'll take the Dragon instead of the Baron. And C9's like, I guess we take the Baron then.
Also feels good to have super minions crashing down the mid lane. Helps out. With Baron being pushed other ways, we see GoldenGlue backing. I don't get much more. Everybody's on elixirs at this point to have the money to start chugging them down.
Yeah, it's pretty much just, in terms of carries, Keith plus Mickey still have 1 item to go, but they have the stopwatch, which will become a Guardian Angel later.
All right, so GoldenGlue has his elixir. I don't think everybody else has been able to back and refresh at this point. We better start seeing them. We're getting late game. You don't have any more money to spend.
Yeah, definitely does need to upgrade his death cap.
Oh,
though.
he does?
It's like 700 away from it.
Yep. Also have a stopwatch still on Mickey that he hasn't used, so big item to come in for him if he needs it. As he starts farming up, he is sitting at just 415, so, I'm sorry, 1,700, so. Could go back to buy if the team gives him time. More vision being set up by Cloud9. Baron obviously wearing off. That top side of the map seems like where they may find Golden Guardians, kind of pushing out for resources or trying to grab their own blue buff. Very quiet on the home front right now.
Yeah, whenever you play against, this is even just like a protect the Kog'Maw composition to throw people back to that.
Yeah.
Who do you go after? You go after the supports, you go after the Kog'Maw, and so far C9 have just tried constantly to go after Deftly, who has a way to QSS, has multiple locket shields, has a Knight's Vow on him, has a Zeke's to counter, and then he's got people who will headbutt, CC.
If you were ever
very difficult
in your super form, like this is your basic final super form of a stealth. Yeah. He is the super farmed guy right now, and that's the priority they tried to put in for this game. And we haven't really seen that happen too much, just more recently today in NA, so the team is definitely pushing a little bit more towards that composition. And it faltered a bit here, but you can hold out towards late game, it appears.
Yeah.
They're doing that to Cloud9 right now.
Kai'Sa with defense is ridiculous. When she gets to stand her ground and just lay out all those attacks, she's harder to kill than a Kog'Maw because she has faster positioning, movement speed buff from the E, also has the fact that she can shield herself, go stealth. Very difficult to actually deal with. She does so much damage too. The AP build makes it so that her damage palette is also mostly focused towards having magic damage as opposed to physical damage.
Charm him up, knock him down. Doesn't look like this is going to be the time to do so. Svenskeren stays just off in his protective wing.
Both teams are playing very hesitant now. There's the completed Rivington's Death Crown for Deftly, so he doesn't really get any stronger than this unless he wants to sell his boots for something. I think mobility and positioning is big. Potentially sell it for something like a Phantom Dancer, actually. Wouldn't be bad because it reduces the damage that people do to you.
Guardian Angel for Mickey. He gets himself a little survivability in these fights. As now they move forward as a team. Golden Guardians has not been out of their base except for pushing that middle inhibitor for quite some time.
And we're there.
Yep.
Golden Guardians responsible for the shortest game of the split versus Team Liquid at 22 minutes. Now responsible for the longest game of the split versus C9. Golden Guardians, different strats, different ways to come back in this game too. And counting a Kai'Sa out, can't really do that. We even saw over in the LCK, I think it's the biggest comeback so far of the split, over 10,000 gold down for Griffin.
Quick clear of wards, a slow push by Lourlo, and possible finishing touches as Golden Guardians hopes to lock something down here in this last engage. C9's more than ready for it.
Yeah, this fight's gonna matter. This is the one that
These are my favorite fights.
Decide the entire game.
The summoner's up, the abilities are there, ultimates are ready. This is down to basically your mechanics right now with the power you have on your champion.
But both of them are waiting very much so for these objectives to come up. Because if you win a fight,
almost too patient.
Yeah, but they want to go back. they want to go. So Golden Guardians want to go mid, get this down, and then go to whichever objective they think is more valuable. But also the Baron is up 30 seconds before the Elder Dragon is. So going to the Baron I think is the right call. Golden Guardians shove mid, go to the side, try to get vision control of this area, set a trap and potentially fight, but ooh.
Submarine
got him.
Has been stopped as of right now. They docked that composition.
But he's back to fully.
Svenskeren still looking off on the side. He's saying he goes back into that invisibility, gets his health up.
Yep, the passive, since he has Death Cap and the Spellbinder, he has so much AP on him that I think he actually does go above his maximum HP with the passive with the Demon Shade. He's sitting at 777 AP when he's actually dealing some damage over there. He does have a way to burst with the Spellbinder as well. There's a control ward in the middle of the lane. Yep.
Very interesting. So you can see C9 gaining all that gold 30 minutes, and it crests up 40 minutes. Golden Guardians taking an even bigger chunk out of it. And then just about evening out the gold here at 47 minutes on the clock. One fight is going to be into the Nexus on either sides. I can't see it not happening. Yeah. Maybe minions for C9 not having it would slow him down, but there's going to be a lot of time on these death timers.
Yeah. Triple Infernal matters a whole bunch here for Cloud9. Gives them a large advantage. Now, they're actually going to start this up. Remember, Kai'Sa does this so quickly.
Pressure in the bot.
Do they actually want to take this fight, though? Svenskeren would have to get in. His smite is strong, but nope, goes right over.
Not stolen. Licorice is going to stay waiting for the call. There he is, stand united on the team, but they're going to be able to drop Svenskeren immediately. GoldenGlue, there's no way he's getting out of this unless Zeyzal can get to him for the Devour. A big ultimate from GoldenGlue, but he has to watch the rest of his team fight now and hopefully take that fight back home.
They have a minion.
Golden Guardians, goal side to Cloud9.
Base race.
They're going to Abyssal Voyage to the bottom, and it is going to be a base race. The minions are not there for Golden Guardians. They're going to have to push in with Cloud9 having full set of minions. Casters on their back, Mickey and Matt to defend.
That's 3 on 3.
They have one if they can keep Contractz in the front. This is an easy win coming out for Golden Guardians. That's going to be one Nexus turret. What a two-man play all the way into the base. What a start for Golden Guardians as they take down Cloud9.
Give that minion a raise. Oh my God, they protected it. I saw it walk up from the middle lane.
I didn't see it at first. He was blocking it on Braum.
Well, as soon as they made that call to just split off, I was like, they got a minion. A minion is the key word. The single one with the Baron buff. That's all they had to do was stand in front of it. And Golden Guardians, they were down 7,000 gold. They funneled into Deftly. It went the way of C9 early, but they were resilient. They played the composition and the team fights better, and it made all of the difference. They pick up their second win in the third game of the split.
Incredibly resilient. I love that word because they adapted and they changed to what Cloud9 was doing. Something Cloud9's very good at and saying, hey, we're going to submarine, we're going to go in, we're going to take it, that'll be a few turrets. By that time, you feel suffocated. But they adapted and they would literally shut down Svenskeren before the submarine could even get out of the water. He couldn't even initiate.
Yeah, he couldn't initiate. They kept blowing him up. There was a wind wall to stop a charm one time. The next time that he got charmed, Deftly QSS'd it, jumped to the other side, and it was basically they can't tank busk fast enough with the other members that aren't Svenskeren and Licorice, and they just bought so much time. You can see Matt feeling real good because
absolutely
he played incredibly well. His headbutt pulverizes to set up Mickey in the mid late game, the peeling that he was doing. Deftly's going to get a lot of credit here for playing the Kai'Sa, being the person who was funneled into and dealing a lot of damage. But Mickey deserves a lot. Also, Matt on top of it, because Mickey's win walls were great, and then also Matt's setup.
Incredible as well. Like, what is next for these guys? Contractz, Graves, Braum, right? Like, coming in with a completely new pick there, a jungler that says, I can throw up a shield, I can stick with you, and I will be your fight buddy. That's what they did. They took it home, and to give us more insight on how that game played out, let's send it back to the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you, Riv. A big comeback victory here for the Golden Guardians over Cloud9. Before we get into how it happened, I want to take another look at the final moments of that game as Golden Guardians wins the team fight and almost ultimately pushes into the base.
And this is a nice, cute idea on the side of C9 because the game is likely over at this point if they try and stop.
To make them panic.
Well, you're not going to defend it, right?
Yeah.
No. 3v5, so your best opportunity is to maybe create some chaos and look for the victory yourself.
Yeah, no to the top right, the little minion that could. It reduces the armor and MR of all those turrets. Contractz smartly tanks all the hits, and it makes it pretty easy. Also, Keith just getting punted around.
Yeah, on the flip side, he was not having fun. They just put the meatballs on him and kept hitting him around. He tried to kite out a Yasuo, but yeah, they did the right thing. Recall 3, that's all you need to defend and make sure it's a guaranteed victory.
All right, but now I want to figure out how the game even got to that point because we saw the gold graph flown up at about that 40-minute mark, and C9 was largely in control of that game, you know, from start to finish. And so where was the breakdown for the squad on the side of Cloud9, and where did Golden Guardians, you know, make the right moves in order to come away with the victory?
Yeah, I actually like Golden Guardians comp a lot at first, and then I saw it like not quite working out, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe this was too cheesy for them. But then once it got to the late game, it looked very good, and they easily could have had a smoother early game. I love Mickey on more exciting things than a Lourlo. I don't want to see him on Lourlo ever again. Yasuo in the bot lane, great. Definitely not playing Vlad. He's playing a marksman, but it's in the jungle. I thought all this made a lot of sense for this team, and then the early game was just the only struggle.
Yeah, I completely agree. I do think, though, that C9 was pretty well prepared for dealing with it. GoldenGlue used that low pressure jungler, so to speak, to get very fed. And then their priorities in the early team fights were pretty crisp. So for a lot of this game, it really did feel like Cloud9 was going to waltz to a victory.
All right, well, we mentioned the control the Cloud9 had. Let's take a look at a clip that perfectly exemplifies that. A 3-for-1 near the Baron 22 minutes in for Cloud9.
Yeah, and this is the gold funnel strategy. So you have a big highlight onto Deftly, but also GoldenGlue was equal at gold in this point because of his team fight performance. And a lot of this is about how well can either team focus the carry. You can't actually kill that Swain when he's ulted when your damage dealers are getting focused, and you can see Deftly on the other side just getting evaporated by C9.
And those are the first couple fights in a row for Deftly. We're all kind of that way. GoldenGlue gets on top of him with one other tank and just insta-kill. And that was a problem. Also, that fight, GoldenGlue had a really nice flash to get over Matt, who was about to punt him away. Actually punted him back on top of Deftly, unfortunately. But that was one of those microsecond ones. Can't blame Matt for it.
All right, yeah, exactly. Recognizing the target that they need to kill, correctly stacking the damage that they need to in order to zero him out. But then we fast forward to 35 minutes into the game, and things have already started to go a little bit awry for this Golden Guardians squad, or for this Cloud9 squad.
Yeah,
Fast backwards.
What we were going to show was their ability to attack.
Did you not understand? It was very
Was
clear.
that not clear?
Yeah. There was also only one Shen in the game, not two, like the first campsite graphic. But I will say that they slowly learned how to properly peel for Deftly throughout this game, and it was most apparent in this fight where the instant they see the Evelynn, even if there's going to be a Shen that's supposed to be delivered, you instantly kill Svenskeren because he doesn't have any resists. Also, Deftly had a nice move off the backside of this fight to zero out Keith, and you did see that again and again. Svenskeren was unable to deliver Shen properly.
Yeah, there was one like kind of breakpoint fight a little bit before then where after that, C9 never won a team fight cleanly again. It was the first time that they did not assassinate Deftly at the start of the fight, lived with like 300 HP, and then after that, the outscale was in full effect. Also I liked Mickey's build after I saw an effect. At first, I was like, that's a lot of HP for Yasuo, but then it allowed him to kind of focus more on doing his own thing and go off on Mickey land, while the rest of the team was focused often on saving Deftly.
Right, and he didn't necessarily need to maximize damage as there was plenty coming out of a 6-item Kai'Sa. Another interesting thing here is we earlier in the day looked at a tweet from Acadian about drafting against this Cloud9 squad and saying, hey, that missed ban that they had really hurt them as they meant to target the Shen and weren't able to get that off the table. Golden Guardians ended up in a situation where they had to play against the Shen, still found a way to beat it. Instead, they took the Nocturne off the table and made Cloud9 reach for another pick to try and submarine that champion into the team fights.
Yeah, there was a lot of focus down the bot lane with that Shen, and that's kind of how the snowball started against them. Was Mickey and Matt were not able to really defend themselves adequately without a real jungler and mid laner to help defend those dives, and if that Nocturne was there, it comes even harder.
All right, well, with that, we're going to send it over to Evelynn, who's standing by for an interview with the former E-United bot lane.
Thanks, guys. E-United reunited. I am here with Deftly and Zeyzal. First of all, Deftly, congratulations on that victory and such a positive start for Golden Guardians at the beginning of the split. What does racking up these early wins really mean for you and the team?
Well, hopefully we can keep winning, so it doesn't really mean anything, and we'll make playoffs easily. But coming into the split, we worked really hard. We came in early, and we all put in a lot of effort into preparation.
And more importantly, with that win, what's it like taking down a former teammate?
Well, last split, we lost 0-2 to Cloud9, and back then it was just Licorice on the team. But even then, it still felt really bad, and it felt really bad for Juan too, or Contractz, since that's his former team. But it feels really good this time around that we're able to take him down at least once.
And Zeyzal, what was it like taking on a former teammate?
It was exciting at first. I knew there was going to be an interview if we won, so I was looking forward to that a bit, but sad to say I'm on the losing side of that one.
Now, clear something up for me. I want to know, how close are you guys? Before we came in here, Zeyzal, you said that you guys had sleeping arrangements together, or what's the story behind this?
So definitely went to Korea with 3 Cloud9 members to boot camp with us, and our sleeping arrangement was with each other, actually. Not that close, though. Not with.
Not that close. But I mean, I want to ask you guys, what was it like watching each other grow after you guys split apart from E-United? Definitely start with you.
It was definitely a bit bittersweet. I really liked playing with Zeyzal. He was always like my leash. I never really spoke, and he just guided me around everywhere. But I think now I'm growing into more of a complete player and able to think on my own.
it's definitely helped me to see Deftly and how good he was. Because when you lane with someone and you aren't always successful, it kind of like you're not sure who it is. And like seeing how successful he was without me made me realize like, hey, maybe I'm not the best, and it helped me improve as a player for sure.
Well, that being said, do you have any advice now that you've played both with and against Deftly for him?
It's hard to say. I didn't get to lane against him this game.
True, all of these role swaps, but how about you for Zeyzal?
I don't really know, to be honest. I think he's playing really well, and I hope he keeps it up.
Now, we don't have Licorice here, but he was also a part of the United squad. Anything that you want to say about him since he can't fire back?
Well, Licorice is definitely a phenomenal player. He got Rookie of the Split over me. I'm a bit salty about that, but it's whatever. But I think he's really good, and there's definitely he's just a really good player.
He's a good player. He doesn't call his Ornn roams all the time though, so we got him there.
Well, there you go, guys. Thank you so much for coming, and definitely congratulations again. Back to Dash and the analysts.
Thank you very much, Evelynn. 3 of the 5 E-United members now playing on the LCS stage. Of course, Licorice and Zeyzal on C9 and Deftly over on Golden Guardians. Mark, you've had the opportunity to cast these guys throughout their academy careers. What's it kind of like to watch these guys flourish, in a sense, now here in the summer split?
They're all grown up, James.
I know, right?
It was
make you so proud.
It was really cool just because when they started on E-United, there was always the focus of the playmakers, which were either the European core, because it was Gilius and Fox, I think. I forget. Either way, there was a core of those two guys making a lot of plays. And then
Made jungle more so than anywhere else.
Right, and they were the kind of the role players in the side lane with Licorice and Deftly and Matt. And that was kind of how they operated in Academy, but you could see the talent there and knew that they were going to grow as players over time, and they go from Academy players working mostly in a support role to taking on more carry responsibilities to joining up with LCS orgs, and now here they are starting and becoming pretty huge factors in their team's wins and losses.
I mean, what a weight to shoulder on the LCS stage for Deftly to have one of these funnel strategies built around you. This isn't a guy who's spent 7 years on the LCS stage like some of the veterans we've talked about today. He's very much a youngin', but he's filling the role quite well.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they could start 2-1 after losing the first game against Optic, where we're thinking, oh man,
oh no,
this is their chance to pick up a win, and they didn't do it, and then they win the next 2. So good to see them bounce back, and we'll see if they can continue that growth.
Well, with our day of games in the books, no team remains undefeated with a clear divide in the standings. We have 6 teams who share first at 2-1, followed by 100 Thieves, Cloud9, and Counterlogic Gaming, who are tied for 7th at 1-2, leaving FlyQuest in 10th at 0-3. If we look back on the predictions, though, from earlier in the day, you guys had to call out your 60% prediction rate up to this point.
Yep.
You dropped to 40% on the day, and the fans with the Golden Guardians pick at the end of it all outdo the both of you.
That is a disappointing graphic. I would love if that graphic got off.
There's a whole lot of gray on that graphic, my friends.
Yeah, thanks,
all right.
man.
Well, you'll have an opportunity to do better tomorrow. Let's take a look at which teams can further break up the standings tomorrow with our schedule, presented by Jersey Mike Subs. FlyQuest hopes to pick up a win against Optic Gaming in the first game of the day, followed by Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves. Plus 2 more games before we wrap up the day, with Echo Fox facing off against the Golden Guardians. Anything in particular here stand out for you?
That's a doozy.
Which one's a doozy?
So when you're thinking of how do I improve upon today's predictions, there's not many clear-cut.
You know what you do? You call Golden Guardians over Echo Fox tomorrow.
Do you?
It's just it's a thought. Do you? Luckily, I don't have to make predictions.
So I will say, the producer told me that the coin was exactly the same as Mark and I today.
Are you serious?
Yes. So
get me back doing the chance.
So
you went
really
0-5 with the coin, didn't you?
You did.
The coin.
Yeah, 0-5
maybe
the coin.
let's stop doing the coin.
It's tough, man.
Let's move on to something.
Literally, all of those matchups looked like they could go either way. We saw Echo Fox with what looked to be a somewhat disappointing loss today when they were looking super amazing. No undefeated teams after 3 games.
That's insane.
Of the 18, we might have some parity. Continued.
We continued.
Because last split, we had the 6 teams that were all within 1 game of each other.
To make the
COG
playoffs.
making a run at the end, and then those 3 teams kind of down in the dumps. But we got Optic at 2-1. Golden Guardians at 2-1. FlyQuest, I think I can predict that one.
Okay.
I'm thinking that's the one that I'll.
A little bit of layup.
I'm hoping that.
So 1 of 4. You're guaranteeing me 1 of 4 tomorrow. I like it. Well, If you need more league action before we return tomorrow, stay tuned for the EU LCS rebroadcast going live as soon as we say our farewells. Speaking of which, for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more of the NALCS. Good night.